Hi guys, welcome back to Flora Fun and Food. My name is Lauren and today we have spent the entire afternoon making skin salves. I have 10 different recipes using things from the garden and other things that I found online. These are going to be great gifts, so let me show you how I made them. Let's go. So I have been collecting things from the garden all summer long. So here I'm picking some different varieties of calendula flowers. Aren't they pretty? Okay, we have our calendula here that we need to dry, and I have been collecting and drying them for a while now. So we'll put them on a silicone mat so I don't lose any petals. We're going to space them out so they have the best chance of drying. Oh, they're so pretty. All right, we'll stick those in there. And we will put it on 100 degrees overnight. All right, let's check on our calendulas that we've been drying overnight. Oh, perfect. All right, these should feel completely brittle and straw-like to the touch. If they have any moisture in them at all, they will mold if you put them in this jar. Ask me how I know. So we're gonna add these to our continued collection, and I'm just gonna keep harvesting these until I have a pretty good amount in this jar, and then we're going to pour in a carrier oil, which could be sunflower oil, olive oil, coconut oil, jojoba oil, any of those kind of oils. So we're going to continue harvesting calendula and hopefully make some really good things from them. Okay, my first oil that I'm going to infuse is rose with rosehip oil and coconut oil. Now, I did not grow these rose petals. I ended up buying them on Amazon, so I will link where I got them down below. Same with these oils. I got them all from Amazon. So I poured some in, shook it, got the air bubbles out, and poured more in. Next up is lavender and grapeseed oil. So I had a lot of lavender, so I just filled this jar like halfway full, let the bubbles kind of settle, and just filled it to the top with grapeseed oil, and then just stuck it to the side. Next recipe is thyme and sunflower seed oil. I love how golden yellow the sunflower seed oil is, and I actually used it in quite a few of these, so that's definitely a winner in my book. So the thyme smelled really good in this one. Up next we had sage with grapeseed oil. The different oils do different things. You can kind of look up their benefits. I just wanted to try a few just to see which carrier oil I liked the best. So far they all seem pretty good. But the sunflower oil was definitely the cheapest and I thought was the prettiest. So next up we have rosemary and olive oil. That is just a match made in heaven. So, you know, you could definitely infuse olive oil with any of these herbs to use in cooking. And so, you know, whatever I have left here, maybe I'll end up using later in my cooking, but for now I am doing it for cosmetic purposes. So I stuck a ton of rosemary in this jar just because I grew so much, and then I poured olive oil up to the top, shook it to get the air bubbles out, and then topped it up again. After that, I went in with some calendula and sunflower seed oil. Now, I did have to collect calendula all summer, so I didn't fill this all the way to the top so I could keep adding the dried flowers as I harvested them. Next up is mugwort and sunflower seed oil. This one I just happened to have on hand for a different project, and so I decided just to use some of it up so I didn't waste it. Again, the sunflower seed oil, it went a long way because it was a huge container. Then we have Skullcap, again from another project long ago, and I added more sunflower seed oil to this one. And finally, I picked the last of my mint in the garden, and it had kind of bolted so it flowered. So I just picked everything and stuck it in the dehydrator at 100 degrees overnight, and all the leaves and flowers went nice and crispy, and so I shoved them all into a jar. Oh, here's more calendula that I just kept adding. But I ended up with, I think, 3 or 4 trays of dried mint, and so I just crammed all of it into this jar just because I really had nothing else to do with it and I didn't want to waste all of my efforts. So this kind of compacted down pretty easily. It looked like a lot of mint, but once it's dry, it really doesn't go that far. Oh, look, I maybe even had 5 trays, but so much mint. But this oil ended up smelling so good. So the more you put in, the more pungent the smell is. So I made sure I got every last little bit of it, and then I topped it up with the coconut oil and let it sit for 7 weeks. You can do less, but that's how long I let it sit. Okay, the first thing we need to do is get all of the herbs and flowers strained out from our oil. So we're gonna start with mint, and I have labels on these so that I don't forget what they are. Oh, it smells good. So I'm gonna pour this into a fine mesh strainer first. And then I'm gonna wash out my jar so I can reuse it. So this is just gonna get rid of the big chunks at first. But as you can see, there's a bunch of little particles still from the dried leaves, so we need to filter that out. So I'm actually going to use, I would use cheesecloth, but I don't have any, but I do have these disposable like cleaning cloths, and they work just fine. They don't have detergent or anything on them, they're just the fabric. So I'm going to take this cloth and open it up, and we'll put it in our measuring cup here, and I'm just going to pour our oil over the cloth, and it's going to sink in a little bit. And then we'll lift it out, and it catches all of those little particles. Okay, I have washed and dried out. Now you want to make sure you don't have any moisture in it, because water and oil are not a good combination. So now we can pour our filtered oil back into our jar. And filter the next part. Alright, mint is ready. One of these I have lavender, rose, rosemary, calendula, sage, thyme, mugwort, and skullcap. So I will be back once I have filtered all of these oils. Okay, so now we need to get a pot of water on the stove boiling, and I'm going to put a canning ring at the bottom to give myself a little trivet. Alright, and I'm going to stick this measuring cup, which is heat proof. I'm going to turn the ring upside down. There we go. Alright, and we're going to start off with the calendula oil. So I'm going to take all the lids off of my little 2-ounce tins here. And I'm going to go in with 1 cup of my calendula oil that we strained. And then 3 tablespoons of beeswax pellets. And then we're just going to stir this until the beeswax is totally melted. I don't want this to get too hot, because if I boil my oil, then it's going to lose some of its healing properties. So I'm going to turn my water down now that it's kind of getting some of the bubbles at the bottom. I don't want it to boil, I just want it to kind of be scalding almost, which is right before a boil. So I'm just going to keep stirring this until all the pellets melt. And then I'm going to use these tiny little jars of essential oils. This is 0.17 ounces. So we're just going to put the whole thing into the ones that we want to make smell good. So I actually think I'm going to put the bottle of lemon essential oil in with my calendula, just because calendula is it's a flowery scent, but it's kind of bitter. So I'm going to add some citrus to it and make it smell good. So that was 0.17 ounces of essential oil. I just bought these little bottles. I would say probably 50 drops or so would be fine. So we're just going to keep stirring until it's all melted. So you can see my wax pellets are almost melted. So we're going to keep stirring until they are totally dissolved or combined. They don't really dissolve, they melt. And the lemon smells really good in this. Okay, this is now totally melted together. So I'm going to remove our jar from the heat. Kind of wipe off the water, because we don't want water in our mixture. And we're going to carefully pour our mixture into our tins. And we just need to let them sit and cool, and then stick our lid on. It is the perfect amount. for 6 2-ounce tins. All right, we'll get this back in the water and start our next oil. And I'm gonna wipe out the old one. If you're worried about contamination or allergies, make sure you wash it in between. All right, up next, we're gonna do rose. So again, 1 cup of our oil and 3 tablespoons of beeswax. And then I have rose essential oil that I'm gonna add to this one. Again, this is the whole 1.17 ounce bottle. We're essentially making a double boiler with this setup here, and I put a ring at the bottom just because I don't want to risk my glass shattering if it gets too hot on the bottom, so I just put something in between. You could put a washcloth in there, you know, however you want to keep it off the bottom, but it just kind of makes it a little bit safer. All right, this one is our rose, and I've laid out my tins for the other oils that will fit on my countertop right now. All right, rose is done. Let's do lavender. So again, 1 cup of oil and 3 tablespoons of beeswax. And if your water starts to evaporate and get low, add a little bit more, just so that we keep it consistent and we don't get it too hot. So for lavender, I'm going to add lavender essential oil. All right, our lavender is ready. Up next is mint. So a cup of mint oil, 3 tablespoons of beeswax, and I'm going to put peppermint essential oil in this one. And now we stir. Alright, I've added some more water because it was getting a little low, but now it's boiling a little too much, so I'm carefully kind of lowering this in and out of the heat just until my pellets melt. Alright, mint is ready. Alright, we're going to do mugwort next. And I don't have a mugwort scent, so we're going to pick another scent to throw in here. Get my 3 tablespoons of beeswax here. I really like the smell of jasmine, so we're going to use jasmine just to give it a floral kind of scent. Oh, this one smells really good. Alright, our mugwort is almost ready. Got some water splash in there, so I want to make sure I get that out. Alright. Alright, I just realized I did the wrong ones. So we're going to carefully, oh these are hot, pour it back in and wipe these out because this is supposed to be Skullcap, not mugwort. And I've already labeled the lids, so I need to get them in the right containers, and the other containers are a different color. Good thing I realized it while it was still hot. Alright, we're going to move these out of the way. Get our mugworts open here. Now, I ran out of tins. I was 1 short, so I am only doing 5 mugworts, so somebody is going to miss out on a mugwort one, but I can always make more later or put it in a bigger jar. I just wanted it to match, but it is what it is. Alright, now we'll do the right one, which is Skullcap, for the other rose gold ones. So a cup of that. 1, 2, 3. And for the Skullcap, I'm going to do Violet. Just another floral scent that I think smells really good. And it looks like our first few are starting to harden up. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lids on them and get them out of the way so we have room for the next ones. Alright, our Skullcap is ready. Alright, next up we're going to do Sage. And Sage I had to buy a bigger bottle because the little one that I bought only came with clary sage, which I think smells a little bit different. So I'm not going to use this whole bottle. I'm only going to use about that much. Try and make it the same as the others. There we go. Alright, Sage is ready. We're almost done. We're getting close. 2 more after this. Alright, next is rosemary. And I've got rosemary essential oil. Okay, here goes rosemary. We've got 1 more. We're so close. All right, last but not least, thyme. Let's get our oil here. Cup of thyme oil. And some thyme essential oil. I did make little labels for each lid that have what it is and what it's used for, and I'll go over those here in just a minute, but I think these will be really fun to add to my Christmas gift basket that I'll do a video on, just everything I've kind of made from the garden that I want to share with friends and family. But this is the last of our salve. We have all kinds of options now. So this is our thyme, and we're going to pour these in and let everything cool, and then I'll show you the tops. Okay, we are finally done making all of our salves. So I told you I would go through what these do. This one is the one that I did in a previous video. This is my goldenrod salve, and in that video I show you how I painted the little herbs and flowers, and then how I created the sticker. But the goldenrod salve is good for joint pain, muscle pain, and arthritis pain. Then today we made these. I have mint, which is good for bug bites, poison ivy, and bee stings. Sage, which is good for dry skin, inflammation, and pain relief. Thyme, which is good for acne, razor burn, cuts and scrapes, and itchy skin. Skullcap, which is good for wounds because it's antimicrobial. It also kind of helps get rid of irritants and oil on your skin. Calendula is good for burns, scrapes, eczema, bug bites. Rose is good for to fade scars and age spots and for itchy skin. Rosemary is for dry skin, dandruff, and eczema. Lavender is for rashes, headaches, scrapes, and burns. And finally, Mugwort is for itchy skin, redness, acne, and dark spots. So we have 10 total salves that we made using things from the garden and a few things I grabbed online, which I'll link everything down below. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and head over to my channel to subscribe for more content like this. And I hope to see you again very soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.